crypto people? It is the Crypto Siege with another day in the life and the crazy life that is a digital asset space. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to each and every one of you. Holy moly, I'm so excited for you. Why? Because you're an early adopter of this new asset class that is the digital asset space. Goodness gracious, the market is doing what the market does. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. We're gonna take a look at take a listen to blockchain backer. I believe I'm going to play him at the end of this video so we can kind of get a good sense of what's really going on in the market. The preeminent XRP TA guy, preeminent XRP technical analysis guy for the XRP community, blockchain backer. We'll listen to a little bit of him. I wanted to follow up on my last video, and I talked about why the FTCA and Jay Clayton and William Hinman felt like, it's no big deal that we're doing what we did with the Ethereum free pass thing. It's no big deal. This, we know at the end, what can they really do? I'm going to cover something, an article from, I believe it's from Law 360, that kind of tells you why they felt that way. I believe why they felt that way. We'll get into that as well. What is going on right now with Laura Shen and freaking this book, Cryptopians, and this freaking, what? A shadow government, her own words, behind Ethereum. Like, holy moly, what is going on with that? Oh, man, that is crazy. Vitalik wielding his power. I would have never thought about that. Never thought about that. Almost, she kind of describes him almost like tyrant. Like, wow, that's very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Oh man, Laura Shen said some stuff when she was on CoinDesk as well. I watched that video. Interesting stuff, guys. Crazy. Just not a great look right now with Ethereum, the Ethereum Foundation, the madness that took place there. Interesting stuff. Very, very, very interesting stuff. So, in any case, guys, look, this is your XRP Ripple daily news in around 0 to 10 minutes. Let's go with the market. It's not a great scene right now. The total cryptocurrency market cap is down 5.9% in the 24 hours. Wow, 1.96 trillion total cryptocurrency market cap. Crypto, 1.96 trillion. Man, Bitcoin dominance is at 39.5%. Blockchain backer called it. Look at Ethereum at 3,000. He said, I wouldn't rush to be so excited about Bitcoin when it hits over 45,000. He believed it was just in like a long range. So this getting down to $40,729 for Bitcoin, not a surprise at all to BC Backer. And again, not a surprise to me because I follow that guy. So Ethereum is at $3,008. XRP is at 70 cents, 70 cents. Look at the double figure reds in the market, guys. Solana's down 25% at $102. Terra Luna down 24% at $85. Cardano's down 20%. It's currently trading at 94 cents. Avalanche is down at 22% down to $75. Polkadot again is down 23.5% at $17, guys. The market is doing certainly what the market does. Shiba Inu is down 14% at 23,000 Satoshi. Double figure reds in the market all around. If you can find some 30% minuses, those are, for me, those will be some really good times to buy. 30% VeChain, almost down 30% at 28% at 5 cents currently. Axie Infinity is down 31%, trading at $45.57, guys. Look at the market. Oh, man. Holy moly, the market is definitely, Aave's down 33% at $161. So, guys, look at the market. A lot of double figure reds. What can you say? What can you do? Just understand that the market is doing what it does. The market is doing what the market does. Harmony One is down 28%, not quite 30 cents, trading at 12, not quite 30%, trading at 12 cents is Harmony One. But yeah, man, look at the market, guys. Crazy. Crazy. Neutrino USD. Now, USDN. I thought USDN was the Waves token. Stable coin. But in any case, guys, that's the market. It's crazy right now. But let me go over this article because I do think it's really, really important to understand that without doubt in my mind, without doubt, without any question at all in my mind, Jay Clayton and William Hinman knew exactly the repercussions for their actions, and they knew that they more than likely would not be held accountable while at the SEC, certainly. It says here, this is from Frank Francone, and I know that John Deaton has put this out on his Twitter. It's a really, really great read, but I want to cover it. It says, Ripple case shows a need for FTCA reform. FTCA reform. Forbes has fairly dubbed, this is according to Frank Francone, it's probably Francone, but Francone. Forbes has fairly dubbed the SEC versus Ripple Labs in the United States District Court of the Southern District of New York as the cryptocurrency case of the century. Starting in 2013, Ripple Labs distributed the cryptocurrency XRP for program sales for 7 years. The United States Securities and Exchange Commission did nothing, while secondary market trading built XRP into the third largest cryptocurrency in the world. In 2020, the SEC brought a sweeping and frankly punitive case against Ripple and its two top executives, contending that XRP is a security and that Ripple and its officers were selling unregistered securities all along. Though the SEC does not claim Ripple committed fraud or malfeasance, it nevertheless seeks $1.3 billion in fines. This case is the latest example of an unfettered abuse of enforcement power by federal administrative agencies. But under current federal law, even if Ripple wins, it has no remedy for the SEC's abuse due to a gap in the law that needs to be fixed. And again, this is why I firmly believe that Jay Clayton and William Hinman knew about this FTCA, right? They knew about it and they took a shot because they were being, if you will, I don't want to say paid to do it, but I do want to say that there was arrangements made by their law firms, at least one of these law firms, in the freaking Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. Ethereum set out to be a payments thing, and they knew that XRP was a massive competition, and they tried to monopolize the market. And when you hear about this freaking Ethereum Foundation video from Laura Shan, you're going to even think like this is mafia-like type actions. Mafia-like type actions. It's crazy. The commission's lawsuit against Ripple uses an overly broad interpretation of the Securities Act to claim that XRP, the token itself, is a security regardless of how it was packaged and sold. The broad claim coupled with aggressive, the broad claim coupled with aggressive discovery motions seeking to dig through Ripple's senior executive personal finances strongly suggests the SEC expected Ripple to fold quickly and beg for a settlement, and that its legal arguments would never really be tested in court. They guessed wrong. You're right about that, Frank. Ripple is fighting back vigorously, and if the SEC's sweeping arguments prevail, they could destroy trillions of dollars of stored wealth across multiple cryptocurrencies. Hello, all these maxis and all these different kind of camps. When are you going to get it? How many other different people are going to have to tell you that Ripple is fighting for the freaking entire digital asset space? Certainly the legit ones. How many times are you guys going to have to hear that? Totally get it. Says they guessed wrong. Let me repeat this. They guessed wrong. Ripple is fighting back vigorously. And if the SEC's sweeping arguments prevail, they could destroy trillions of dollars of stored wealth across multiple cryptocurrencies that face the same fate as XRP. I don't know when you guys are going to get it. Not you guys who listen faithfully. But these other people on these camps, whether it be Bitcoin, or Ethereum, or freaking Cardano, or freaking Solana, or Terra Luna, whatever, it's time to wake up. Regardless of the outcome, it has already cost Ripple millions of dollars in attorney fees and has introduced huge uncertainty in the multi-trillion-dollar cryptocurrency market. From 2012 to 2018, Ripple sold billions of XRP, and the SEC gave no guidance on it, even when asked by several market participants. Then in 2018, a senior SEC official declared that Bitcoin and Ethereum, the two largest cryptos, were not securities, but refused to issue regulations applying to all tokens. Refused, just like Hester Peirce said from the SEC Commissioner Hester Peirce said that the SEC refused to offer guidance. Accordingly, the Ripple team has argued that if XRP is a security, the SEC had failed to provide fair notice, making the case a violation of due process. The SEC's refusal to issue regulations governing cryptocurrency means that companies and individuals must guess whether their activities are legal or not, violating the fundamental rule of fairness underlying the rule of law. Instead, the SEC has resorted to regulation by enforcement, leaving the industry without guidance, except the fear that they could be next. Wow. The SEC's behavior in the SEC versus Ripple raises serious questions about what remedy defendants and XRP holders may have against an overbearing federal agency that has abused the power granted it by Congress. Unfortunately, today there is no remedy whatsoever, no matter how ill-founded or malicious the SEC's actions. The doctrine of sovereign immunity and the Federal Tort Claims Act, FTCA, protects the SEC and its officers from any consequences for intentional wrongdoing. What in the world? They have an act, the Federal Tort Claims Act, that protects them from intentional wrongdoing. What the world's going on? That's why we always say you got to look to your Congress. Right? We got to speak out to your Congress. You got to go to cryptolaw.us, crypto-law.us, and let your Congress people know what is going on with this Federal Tort Claims Act. How is the SEC able to get out without any repercussions for their wrongdoing? How is that possible? We need to get that changed. Under ancient English common law, the doctrine of sovereign immunity meant that the crown and its officers could never be sued. Why? Because the king can do no wrong. Although the American colonies rejected the divine infallibility of kings, the doctrine of sovereign immunity survived Perhaps this was not a major issue in 1783, as federal agencies had little power. That has changed. Since the 1930s, Congress has delegated massive roles to increasingly powerful and well-funded federal agencies. Many agencies like the FTCA now write, adjudicate, and enforce their own laws. In 1946, Congress passed the FTCA, softening the doctrine of sovereign immunity by allowing persons injured by negligent acts of federal agencies to sue and be compensated. Incredibly, though, the FTCA prohibits lawsuits against federal agencies like the SEC for intentional wrongdoing. What the heck? Think about that. The FTCA prohibits lawsuits against federal agencies like the SEC for intentional wrongdoing. Intentional wrongdoing, such as defamation, abuse of process, or malicious prosecution. Wow, a common law, intentional tort designed to discourage meritless lawsuits. Normally, a malicious prosecution claim may be brought if a defendant prevails, yet has suffered provable harm and can show that the plaintiff knew there was no probable cause for the underlying action. But federal agencies are exempt with few exceptions. Ripple said, notice offense. This is, look at that. I mean, you think Hinman and Clayton didn't know this? Come on. Ripple fair notice offense, which leans on the lack of regulatory clarity, is important, though not dispositive, in considering the question of merit. To paraphrase Ripple's response to the SEC's complaint, would a person of ordinary intelligence reasonably know that XRP sales were required to be registered as securities offerings? The commission argues that its regulation by enforcement creates sufficient clarity to give fair notice, yet uncertainty prevails. Years of high-level discussion among sophisticated parties, including regulators and academics, have not provided a clear answer to the question of whether cryptocurrencies, especially individual tokens, are securities. This makes a fair notice defense and malicious prosecution particularly compelling for the aiding and abetting allegations brought against Ripple executive Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson. Aiding and abetting unregistered sales of securities requires scienter. The accused must know or recklessly disregard that their actions substantially assist unlawful activity. As described in the motion for dismissal, Garlinghouse and Larson could not possibly have formed the intent to aid the company in the commission of unlawful activity in such an environment. Even when asked, the SEC did not state that it considered XRP to be a security, even when asked. Other market participants met with the SEC staff about the legal status of XRP and concluded, despite such meetings, that it was not a violation of securities laws to engage in XRP transactions. The best the SEC can do is allege that Mr. Garlinghouse was generally aware of the risk that some digital assets could possibly be deemed securities, but that he worked hard to ensure that it did not appear to have those features. I'm not going to read all of this, but just understand this. At best, Garlinghouse motion puts it, the case represents an abuse of prosecutorial discretion that has sent a dangerous signal to entrepreneurs that will chill innovation. At worst, it is malicious prosecution. Either conclusion and anything in between is an unacceptable use of enforcement power in the absence of clear rules. But under the FTCA and the doctrine of sovereign immunity, it does not matter whether the SEC's acts were entirely wholesome or concocted in malicious bad faith. It is 2022 and the king is still never wrong. The FTCA and its leaders who brought this lawsuit cannot be made to pay any consequences for their acts. And the crypto industry is just the latest emerging sector to face this unjust reality. It is time for Congress to address this injustice by amending the FTCA. And I hope that Chris and Brad take up the cause and they take up the fight to get this amended, because it is a sad thing, and it has harmed the very people that the SEC claims to protect. It has harmed the average everyday retail investor. Great job, Frank. This is really, really good stuff, man. Really, really great stuff. And I apologize for going on there, but I want you guys to really, really get the gist of it. So here's the other thing going on with freaking Laura Shin and the freaking Ethereum Foundation. Oh man, just listen to her talk about this. Unbelievable.
Shadow folks of the Ethereum Foundation who kind of controlled things in the background, but were never really named. How did you even find these people, and what is their power over the Ethereum Foundation?
Yeah, so this is toward the latter part of the book, but a lot of people also talked about what they call the shadow government of the Ethereum Foundation. And it's different people who wield a lot of influence, or at least at that time, because my book ends in early 2018. So kind of in probably the 2017 era that this shadow government started, and there were a lot of people that were wielding influence in Ethereum, in the foundation, but were not necessarily people with official roles. And so a lot of people said to me, this is going on, and we don't like it for these reasons. And what's interesting is the people that were named as being kind of the big power players in this shadow government, it was fascinating. People would be scared to even mention their names to me. They would be scared to say that they had even just been at an event, not even that they'd been doing anything at the event, but just that they'd been there witnessing something wow, historic. So, I mean, people were, they seemed frightened of them, which was fascinating. And even, I mentioned this, so I am giving maybe a few spoilers, but when I asked Vitalik about one of them, he whistled, like he was just surprised I had mentioned the name, or just uneasy about it, or I don't know, but that was his response. So, clearly there's something.
Well, there was a lot of concern about, is Ethereum sufficiently decentralized if Vitalik has so much power over the...
Is Ethereum centralized if Vitalik has so much power? But just think about a shadow, that's what they called them. The people inside Ethereum, they called them the shadow government. And people were literally afraid, when mentioning their name, literally afraid to talk about these people, to even say that they were at an event. I mean, guys, what do you think is the freaking Enterprise Ethereum Alliance? You look at the names of the companies that make up this thing. What did you think that was about? I remember the day when I first heard about this alliance. I was thinking, why are all of these big companies behind this freaking alliance? And then you turn out to not only these big companies, but now we're talking freaking major law firms that represent JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs, probably on retainer by JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs. You could tell that the powers that be, the Goldman Sachs and the JP Morgans of the world, knew that they could stronghold, if you will, strong arm rather, this particular situation with Ethereum. Like they knew it. They could wield their money and wield their power and control this thing. How is it these people, Laura said, these people were kind of running things, but had nothing at all to do with the Ethereum Foundation? And she names names. One of the names, I believe, is Thomas Greco. She names his name in her book. I mean, just Think about that. How do we get to a decentralized, quote unquote, sufficiently decentralized? How do we get there, William Hinman? It's unbelievable. This dude, and then we got the emails with just absolutely blowing Hinman out of the water that he violated time and time again the SEC's ethics policy. And he knows there's not a whole lot that can be done to him. Or at least he believes that. And maybe that 15 mil kind of takes care of that, makes the pain, you know, perhaps go away some. But it's just some shady stuff. And, you know, everybody can put to bed this whole conspiracy thinking, because it's a reality. This was a planned and organized monopoly. They tried to monopolize a segment of this digital asset space. They really tried to just take over Ethereum and take over payments and whatever else. And God knows who are the people who own these whale wallets, quote unquote. And apparently Vitalik, I was listening to something from CoinDesk TV earlier today, and Vitalik appointed some dude named Shen as well, his last name Shen, and kind of ousted some other people and put the Shen person in. And apparently he or his bud were people responsible for the freaking DAO hack that happened in 2016, which is a certain amount of $1 billion. Just not great stuff. Just really puts a stain on the digital asset space as a whole. And this is going to just this book is not going to go away. People are going to have Laura Shen and talking about this book over and over and over again. I wouldn't be surprised. And she's going to do the interviews to promote the book. But I wouldn't be surprised if the CNBCs of the world even bring her on. I wouldn't be surprised by that. I mean, yeah, not a great look. All right, guys, look, I'm going to end this video like I do all my videos and remind you guys of this, that old money doesn't want you to win. But that's okay, though, because you and I are already winning. Have a great rest of the day, guys. I'll talk to you soon. See ya.